Windsor West.
Speaker, my question's to the Premier. This morning I joined education workers on the picket line in Durham, and it felt a lot like 1997. While this Premier claims she cut her teeth in education, the actions of her government are throwing our publicly funded schools into chaos. Liberal cuts to education are undermining the ability of students to learn by forcing community schools to close, reducing in-classroom supports, and limiting access to special education. It's frankly not surprising that we are seeing Harris-era labour unrest, with the first group of OSSTF teachers in Durham on strike as of today, and Sudbury potentially joining them next week. Speaker, why is it that when the Liberal insiders need a leg up, it's no problem, but when it comes to our educators and our community schools, the Liberals say the cupboard is bare?
Premier.
Education.
Minister of Education.
Yes, thank you. And I really do have to challenge the premise of this question, because once again, the third party keeps trying to promulgate the idea that we cut education funding. Not true. We didn't cut education funding. It's stable this year. It's exactly the same as it was last year, and there's actually less students in the system than there were the year before. So that means we're actually spending more per student than we did last year. And if you look at our record over time, we've increased education funding by $8.1 billion. That's 56%, Speaker. So I absolutely deny the premise of the question. We have not cut education funding.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. Back to the Premier. Premier, when you cut $6 million in special education, when you provide $36 million less for textbooks in classroom support and supplies, when you close 88 schools across the province since 2011, you simply cannot act surprised when Ontarians speak out. This government's right-wing austerity plan means 21 fewer early childhood educators in Windsor-Essex, 118 fewer education workers in Peterborough, and 50 fewer educational assistants in Toronto. It means students in Durham and Sudbury need to worry whether or not they will actually be able to finish their school year, with grade 12s wondering if they will be able to transition into our post-secondary system. New Democrats and Ontarians know that this is not progressive. It's not progressive to cut $500 million for education.
Deputy House Leader.
When will this government stop cutting education, dealing out pink slips, and closing community schools, all while calling it progressive?
Thank you. Minister.
Yes, and I repeat, once again, the facts are just simply wrong. We have not cut funding for special education. We've increased funding for special education, just as we have increased every other line in Ontario's education budget. It's going up, not down. However, we do have this sort of myth that the NDP keeps trying to sell to us, is that we should ignore the fact that we have declining enrollment. It is absolutely true that the enrollment in many boards has gone down. The enrollment in many boards has gone down by 5, 10, 15, sometimes almost 20%.
Answer.
Of course that means they're going to have to change. When the enrollment goes down that dramatically, adjustments will happen.
Thank you.